Hello, everyone. I'm hoping that there are a few of you still around this afternoon. We've had sort of a day around here. Hi, Becky. There I am. Yeah, it's been an interesting day. We knew it was going to rain. Hi, Janet. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Hi, Giovannia. The storm passed within, probably an hour, hour and a half this morning. It didn't last very long. It was wicked storm. Hi, Gabby. The storm was bad. The rain came at us sideways from 3 different directions, and the wind was blowing. I mean, it was something else. There's limbs down, but it didn't last very long. And I had internet before that, and then right after that, but didn't have any internet. And they kept telling us it'd be fixed by 1 o'clock. It'd be fixed by 1 o'clock. 2:30 came, and it still wasn't fixed, so I called again, and that's when they said 5. Well, it just came back on just a few minutes before 6. So I hope y'all had a fun day. I hope happy Mother's Day to everybody. And it's really funny. There's 4 of you in chat, but it only says 3 people are watching me. And my stream is dropped again. So I hope we're going to have internet tonight. Hi, Deborah. I was going to show you some of the things that I did yesterday. They count me. They count me. That's why. Okay. I sort of finished this up yesterday. It didn't have enough along the edges and stuff, so I did a little bit on it. I've got to go back in. I think I'm going to just put paper on those and finish it. And then I did a bunch of envelopes and had fun with them. But you know what I picked up this morning? It's amazing how many I didn't finish. Hi, Giovannia. Oh, you were here already. It's Holly that popped in. Hi, Holly. Gabby, I did say hello. I hope I did. Anyways. Anyhow, I'm just going to kind of fiddle around until we see if anybody finds us. And if not, then we'll just start on our program. I don't know who was in the stream yesterday that I think it was Cheryl. Oh, okay. Is there something wrong with it, Becky? Anyways, these are just some of the things I finished up yesterday. This is very grungy and very kind of steampunky to me, so I'll probably do something sort of steampunky with that. I love this. Susan made the comment about using a credit card, and she did it a little differently than that, but I thought it came out really cool. So I was real pleased with the papers from yesterday. Okay, Becky is saying that if you are in Mermaid's Tail on the green one, this one, Becky, hi Sherry. Becky just said that if you're in the mini flow swap, and please hop on group and give her the status of whether or not you've mailed your swap. Hi, Barbara. It wasn't our power. We've had power all day. It was our cable, and without cable we have no internet. Hi, Kendra. Sherry, I said hi, but you were pretty, it was just right in. Hi, Susan. I hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day. These are just some of the papers that I did yesterday, and I was just kind of showing them off and while people got here, seeing how I was kind of late. I really love this one. I just thought that came out so cool. And it looks like I'm a little choppy right now. I'm hoping the internet's going to hold. It's been on for about half an hour, 45 minutes. This one has not got a lot of different, it's got a ton of different designs, but it also has a ton of different colors, which I really liked. And it's got some really cool grunge. So I'm just kind of showing off some papers. And Barbara, I'm sorry that you got all ready at 1 o'clock and then I didn't come on. I've had intermittent internet with my phone too. Our phones don't work real well in the house. That's one of the reasons why we got higher speed internet, is because the phones don't work real well. This house is plastered, and they use like this chicken wire stuff inside plaster, and so for some unknown reason the phones don't work very well. So needless to say, I've had a little bit of internet trouble with that too. So just posting to Facebook was a little hard. This one's really fun too. It's very grungy. This was Susan's technique. With the credit card, you just kind of go like that. And it was very cool. I really liked it. There you go. What was really funny is my mother went to church this morning, and I knew she would go to church this morning, and I was like, the storm started out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my, now not out of nowhere. We knew we were going to have a storm, but we didn't know it was going to be quite like that. And I thought, oh my gosh, if she's headed out to church in this mess, I don't know, because she doesn't, drive that well anymore or be able to see in the dark. And she had gone. I tried to call the house and she had gone. She said it was sprinkling when she headed out, and she got to church just fine. And everybody that came in after her said it was just pouring rain. Well, it just dumped on us. Just dumped. And like I said, it rained sideways, and it was nasty. But it only lasted about an hour and a half. Mom said by the time she got to church, it was all gone. So she got there, she got home, and I didn't even have to go get her. So that was a good thing. I specifically was showing papers because I think it was Cheryl, little sister Cheryl or some, that's how her channel goes. So I'm hoping she'll watch this later if she doesn't pop in. She asked me about the Crayola watercolors and whether or not they dried chalky, because I've got watercolors that dried very chalky and I don't like them. Well, the water, and I didn't know because this was a new it was a new thing of Crayolas. I didn't know if it would behave the same as the old ones, and they did. They're nice and smooth. There's no chalky feel to them. These are the pages that have the most paint on them, and there's neither side is chalky. And I'm sorry about that, Sherry. I do know how that can be. Hi, Mark. Thank you, Giovanni. But anyways, that is, I thought that the watercolors came out beautiful, and they look pretty much like the old ones do. I didn't think that the new Crayola batch was as intense of color, but you know, the old ones are so old, they may have just dried to the point where they had concentrated their colors. I'm sorry, my brain is a little tired. So, well, we are going to play with something that Susan brought up. Susan, I hope you're still here. Susan told somebody that I would show y'all how to do tessellations. She thought she was kidding. Tesselations, and I pulled this up because I knew what she was talking about the minute she mentioned it. This is one of my sons from either the 2nd or the 3rd grade. I've always kept it because I just loved it, and it sits on my dresser. And I knew what she was talking about. She was finishing her yogurt, but to explain it to someone else, I didn't know if I could explain it as well as I liked. Thank you, Mark. So I actually got on the internet and pulled up the description so that we could discuss it, because it's actually very simple, but it can get very complicated. Escher uses tessellations a lot, and I didn't pull up a bunch of that because I was afraid of the legalities of using something like that on my channel. But this is from Wikipedia, and this is an explanation of what tessellation means. A tessellation of a flat surface is the tiling of a plane using one or more geometric shapes. Now, my understanding though is about the fact that the shapes fit together. You use the same shapes repeatedly over and over, and they fit together. Hi, Violet. So this says periodic tiling has a repeating pattern. Some special kinds include regular tilings and regular polygonal tiles of the same shape, etc., etc. The biggest thing I think you have to remember is that when you put the shapes together, you don't end up with stuff in between them. They are just the shapes that they are laid out. I mean, there's grout. It's like a tile floor. There's grout between them, but that's it. How about the falling blocks quilt pattern? Yes, I believe that's right, Janet. I mean, there's so many things, so many. So I thought, if y'all want, I'm hoping y'all want, we're going to play with some tonight. Now, I put out there that it would help to have some graph paper. Okay? And I put a link both in group and on my community tab for this 1-inch graph paper. If you don't have that, we can work without it. I can show you how to do it without. But whether you have 1/4-inch graph paper or this 1-inch graph paper that I printed off, both work. I wanted to make sure I had something big enough y'all could see. That was my biggest thing. So who all is going to play along tonight? Oh, I forgot something. Oh my goodness. I'll be right back, guys. I had all day to prepare and I forgot my box of envelopes. Okay, Susan's going to try. Barbara's going to play. Sherry, that'll be fine, hon. My big concern was you're being able to see what I was doing on tiny graph paper. I'm going to link to your download, Tanya. Giovanni, it was in the group. I'll bet you Janet would grab it for us. Susan's here. Susan could grab it too. Whoever grabs it, that would be awesome. But it, just don't worry too much about it. I'll explain what's going to happen, and you could probably draw it off. Okay? We're going to start real simple. Okay? So that... Oh, really, Janet? Go to the community tab on my channel. Barbara, that's fine. That is fine. Okay, Giovanni, don't worry about it then. If you've got graph paper, it'll work. Just instead of using one little tiny square, you might want to use a bigger square, guys. Like, okay, let me find something black to write with. Okay. Like, instead of using this tiny square, just make your square bigger. Like so. I'm hoping you can see it. Let me bring it in a little bit too. Mark, that's not real appropriate about right now. We'll 4 squares to 1 inch. That works perfect. And if it's not an inch, it doesn't really matter. The big thing is to just look at the square of it. Now, let me bring it in. Well, my camera doesn't want to work today. Okay, there it comes. Okay, finally not buffering. Holly, I'm not going to promise anything today. My internet's been out all day, so we're going to start real simple so that you can see it real well and make it easy for everybody. What we're going to do is we're going to do like one at a time, and for starters we're going to use the same pattern over and over again. Hi Mina, what we're going to do is called Tesselations. And yeah, I know, it took me a long time to get online today. We didn't have any internet. So I'm going to draw a shape. And I'm going to use squares to start with because it will be easy. But you see this lovely square shape. It's like a cross made out of 3 squares one way and 3 squares the other way. And I'm going to leave that sit there, but I'm going to cut that same shape out. Okay? And the reason I wanted you to have graph paper is to make it easy to make our patterns. That is the deal. Because they're going to get more complex. And these can be as big or as little as you want them to be. But what we want right now is this. We want this little pattern. Yes. Thank you, Janet. It's called Tesselations, repeating patterns. They're tiling patterns. Thank you, Becky. Escher used them a lot. Becky did the 1-inch graph paper link. And that it's just, you don't have to have it. The small graph paper will work. But now what I'm going to do is, and I just had those, oh, there, I laid them over here. I'm going to cut. And Gabby, you know, we were talking about your scrapbook paper. You can use your scrapbook paper for this as well as for, as well as the security envelopes. I'm going to use my security envelopes. And I'm going to cut several pieces. Oh, just a minute. Where's my pencil? I don't want to use that one. There. Finally found a pencil. I'm going to cut several pieces of these out. Okay, now depending upon your piece of paper, you can possibly get a bunch right together because that's the whole point of this tiling thing. So I can get extras. We're going to work with more than one piece of paper though. The idea that I want you to do is to have 2 different colors or 2 different patterns of paper, and then we're going to create a pattern with them. So I'm going to get like 4 blocks out of this piece of paper. And I'm going to cut these out. Oops. And then I'm going to make 4 more out of a different piece of paper. Now, honestly, a tile floor like this is technically a tessellation. This particular tessellation that we're going to work on is a single pattern tessellation. Not all tessellations are single pattern. Gabby, Because this is my totally junk journal thing, I just always use this kind of paper. But anytime I use security envelopes or decorative, junk mail papers or magazine pages, you can use your scrapbook paper. Now, I believe I only have 2 or 3 of you playing. Did I miss anybody? I don't know if I said it since everybody got here, but I hope everybody had a good day today and a good Mother's Day if you could. We took Mom out Friday night. We don't like to try to go out on holidays. We're lazy. We do not like to fight crowds. And it was a good thing, I guess, because Jeffrey came home yesterday not feeling real well, and then ended up having a migraine today, so he spent most of the day in bed. Hi, Lisa! Becky's playing too. Okay, good. Lisa, if you want to play along, we started out with this shape right here. It's just 5 squares. 3 this way, 3 this way, and we're cutting out multiple pieces out of 2 different kinds of paper. Now, honestly, you could just color these. That would work too. You could paint them. You could draw them on your graph paper and then color them in with markers. That would work. I'm just using my totally junk scrap security envelopes. Okay, I got 4 of that shape color. Let's see if I can get 4 of this color. Wow, I've got 26 of you watching. Thank you all for coming. Sorry I was late. I told everybody that got here earlier, the storm only lasted about an hour and a half this morning, but boy did it cause havoc with the internet and the cable. Mina is asking how many need to be cut out. Mina, I'm probably going to cut about 4 of each color. Thank you, Janet. I missed it. Okay, and Lisa, Becky wanted an update on she was asking if you could give her an update on your swap for the flow journal thing. So Mina, I'm just cutting 4 of each color paper. That's what I'm doing. And honestly, it's how big you want to do it. If you wanted to go to town with this and make a huge one, that would be okay, but we're gonna go on after we put 4 or 8 of them together. Another thing you could do if you're using squares, I have a square punch somewhere. You could cut out your pieces with a square punch. By cutting out 5 squares and then putting them together in the same pattern. Okay, am I going to get this last one in there? No, I am not. Shoot. Okay, well, we'll have to give it a little attitude adjustment. I'll have to use an extra piece to put in there. I'll just make an extra little square and stick it on that one. Thank you, Janet. Yes, Gabby. Anytime it's square, you can do that. You can use a square punch. Now, if you have a triangle punch, you could do it with a triangle punch. In a little bit, it's going to get more complicated because the pieces are going to be different shapes. And if you had a bigger piece of paper, you wouldn't run out of spot to get 4 of them out. I just ran out of spot. Okay, we're getting there. How are y'all doing on getting your pieces cut out? I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to order glue sticks because I cannot find those extreme glue sticks anywhere right now. Oh, there's a 1-inch square right there. Industriously snipping, okay. While I'm thinking about it, I'm not quite ready for Tuesday, but I'm close. Tuesday night on Lisa's channel, we'll be finishing our file folder zine books in our hangout. So remember that it's on Lisa's channel Tuesday night at 7 Central. And I don't know that if I were snipping, I would be able to spell industriously, so she did good. Alrighty. When y'all get your pieces cut out, let me know. And then I think I'm going to take this little book out of here because I want to be able to... Oh, I can't take it out of there. Ta-da! Okay. Well, I'll be able to glue it down. Four of each pattern, yes. 4 will be plenty, guys. It's fun, Barbara. It's very, very, very much fun. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl, did you ask me about the Crayola paint? Was it you that asked me about it being chalky? Gosh, that's washed out. No, it wasn't you. Okay. I don't remember who asked me. That is terrible when you don't remember who. Anyways, it's not chalky. So that was what I wanted to tell whoever it was. Okay, Mina's done. How you doing, Becky? Deborah, are you playing tonight? Happy Mother's Day to you too, Cheryl. It should. Yeah, I set it up to work for Janet. The video link should work. What Janet's asking, guys, I've set it up so it makes it easier for her to pull some links. So she just posted the link for Lisa's channel and the information for Tuesday night's hangout. Hi, Lori. Okay, Lori, what we're doing is we're playing with Tesselations. What we did with this is the first thing we're going to do is a very, very simple one. It is 3 squares across, 3 squares high. Now, if you have smaller graph paper, you can either use a multiples, like 4 for a square or whatever. I just got this big one so you could see it. I cut out a pattern, and then I cut 4 pieces each of these 2 different patterned papers. Okay? I'm really glad it's going to help, Janet. I really am, because I've been thinking about trying to figure out how to do it for a while, and Gabby, are you getting yours cut out? Oh, and Becky just posted the link for the 1-inch graph paper, Lori, if you don't have the 1-inch graph paper. Now, the other option with this particular square one is to grab a square punch. Okay. Becky's ready, and Gabby's ready. How are you doing, Gabby? Are you ready? Barbara's drawing, so she didn't have to cut them out. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go on. So if you could just, if you're cutting, make sure you're watching, okay? Here's the thing. You can do these a couple of ways, all right? Okay, Becky. And Susan's ready. Okay, Susan, okay, you're going to marker color like Beth. Okay. We can put these together in many, many ways. We could put them together like this, where it gives, and the background paper can be showing through, and you notice that we have the squares, but then we have a square in between. I'm going to just use the rest of these so you can see it. Okay, and if I were to put these over here, I would get the same effect that I get the crosses with the squares in between. Okay, so that's one. Oops, I need to back out a little bit, I guess. Just a minute, I'm sorry. Let me see if that works. It takes a minute, guys, for it to catch up. Okay, that should do it. Okay, hi, Joan. Happy Mother's Day to you too, dear. It's been a kind of a weird day for me too, because we had no internet. Okay, so it can go together like that with this squaring together. That's a tessellation. Or we can put it together where we have two different colors working together. Oops, messed it up. Gotta be careful here. Like so. Okay, and that's a tessellation. So there's more than one way to make it do what, let me turn it this way, to make it do what we want it to do. Okay, I'm going to put mine down on my paper this way. But if you want to put it down on your paper this other way, do so. That's yours to play with. But this particular shape can go together in a bunch of ways. And that's something that you have to be aware of with these silly tessellations. There's lots of things you can do with them. I'm just going to glue mine down the way I showed you a minute ago. I'm going to do it with the alternating colors and in a block. And I'm just going to use glue stick and stick them together. Okay. And the nice thing about squares is that they're usually easy to see the pattern. Can you put a photo in the cross shapes? You sure could, Mark. You could definitely, you could do anything with the, you could put it in the center of the cross shapes. You could actually cut it out of a photo. You could use magazine pages, pictures, and cut each cross as a different picture. The idea behind it is just the shapes are working together. Oh, Mina, this particular page is the width of a grocery bag. This is about 11.5 by 8.5, so just a little bit bigger than a sheet of copy paper. And this happens to be, it just was one of the pages for I've been working on. See, this is the one where we put the paper dolls, and it's got my book on the other side. I just had 2 empty pages, so that's what I'm working in. Just something that'll fit in your journal. That's what you want to use. If you want it to go in your journal. You don't have to put it in your journal. Oh, I had a... I think I'll put that one over there just so it shows up. Jeffrey, are you getting up? Would you mind oh, you're coming in here anyways? I'm going to have you get something for me. Thank you, Janet. Okay, after you finish, before you go back to the other room, I'll have you get something for me. Jeffrey's closing my curtains. He's the blind fairy. He comes and he closes my curtains every night for me. For some unknown reason, the blind fairy does not get up early and open them, though. He just comes and closes them. Pardon? I think it's the second drawer down towards the back on the right. There are packages of markers. There's like 10 markers in a package. 10 or 12 markers in a package. Do you see them? They're in plastic. Nope, it'll be towards the back. Okay, then go another drawer down. Nope. Huh. Yep, those. Yep. That'll work just fine. I just need one. So that is one way we can do that. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. Thank you for closing my blinds. He's so sweet to me. All right, so... Uh-oh, there's my paper doll. Oh. While you're all working on that, I want to draw out the other design using the boxes. Where you use one color, just so that I have that tessellation in my mind. You can all tell me when you're finished doing this other one. Cheryl, Jeffrey never forgets to close them at night. He just doesn't always get them open in the morning. Those blind fairies are just wonderful. I just think they're so sweet. The fact that he was also willing to give up Sunday night television was also sweet, I thought. Okay, let's see here. We want this other one to go right here. We might need to put marker around this, though. No, I don't think so. This one actually uses two shapes instead of one shape. Which many tessellations can have a multitude of shapes. It does not have to even be two. It's just that the pattern or the tiling repeats itself. And I haven't looked at chat in a couple minutes, guys. I can cut and look at chat, but I can't seem to draw and look at chat. Mina's done. Kendra, does that mean you're done too, or you're playing? That's sweet. I have a cover fairy. He turns. Oh my goodness. It is, Barbara, it's harder to mess them up when you cut the shapes out. That much I'll tell you, because but when you're trying to draw them, yeah, you can mess them up. Lori, I think it's you that was late. Are you going to be able to catch up? That's one of the reasons, Barbara, why I wanted to cut. Okay, Kendra's ready. And Gabby's done and playing. um, yeah, Susan, you have to be able to count to 4. I will tell you that I have to tell you all this. Last week, one day, I fell asleep in my chair. I never fall asleep in my chair. And it happened twice the same day. Okay, Becky, how are you doing? Hi, Susan. Lori's trying to catch up. Okay. Happy Mother's Day to you, too. So, this tessellation only uses one shape. This tessellation uses two shapes. Oh, I don't. Jeff will fall asleep, but Gabby, as decoration, this is. I just put these down on one of my journal pages. Okay. Now these are kind of big. If you wanted to just a little bit of decoration on it, make them a little smaller. I have the idea that I may later do something that I put on a postcard too. So Becky's ready. Okay, Lori, I know you're trying to catch up, but do you want to set that one aside for a minute, and we'll do the next one? Okay. Now this one, I'm just going to draw out. I'm not going to cut it out, and I'm not going to go to all that. I'm just going to draw it and show it to you. Oh yeah, Barbara, it would really make pretty texture on it. This one I'm just going to show you, and you can play with it later. So you just want to maybe draw it out. Let's not cut it out and go to all of that right now, because I want to show you a simple one, then I want to show you a little bit more complex one. So this one uses the same squares, the same grid kind of thing, only you're going to go 3 squares. Oh, I used the bigger pen so you could see. I knew there was something going on. You're going to go 3 squares down, 1 across. You're going to make a big H. And that one tessellates together very nicely as well. Okay? So that's another simple one, just using some squares. But now we're going to do one that's a little more complicated. And okay. Let's see if I can do it without messing up. Okay. We're going to draw from one corner to the other corner, so it's an angle like this one. Then we're going to go across. I'm going to go across 2 squares just to make it a little bit easier to work with. And then I'm going to make another angle down. And then I'm going to go across here. Okay? So basically it is 4 squares across at the bottom, only 2 across at the top, and these 2 pieces turn into angles, and this in here is what you want for your shape. Okay, so let's cut out a bunch of these. Okay, we don't have to cut out 500, but I'm going to cut as many as an envelope will give me, probably 5 or 6. Okay. And I have a piece of paper I cut out. So that's the shape we want right there. Oh good, doesn't fit that way. Okay, it'll fit that way. Now, if you have to, because sometimes straight edges are hard for me to draw, I'm going to draw a long line with a pencil. Use a ruler is what I'm trying to tell you. You can use a ruler. Hi, Mindy. Hello, hello, hello. We're just working on our second pattern, or third pattern, I guess was the third one. We're cutting out some shapes that look like that. There are 2 squares in the middle and a triangle on each end. And I'm cheating because I'm drawing lines with the ruler because I can't even draw a straight line tonight. I hope everybody had a wonderful day. Yep, we're learning Tesselations. Thank you, Janet. I didn't even tell her what we were doing. I just said, this is what we're doing. Do it now. Didn't give her any choice. Is that on screen where you can see it? There you go. Yep, this is, we can blame Susan Gerald for this. Yeah. Or maybe we shouldn't blame her. Maybe we should say, yay, Susan, she had such a good idea. It was a good idea though, Susan. It really is. I think it's fun. Back in the day, Brandon loved these for some reason. It was just one of those things he really enjoyed doing. So we did a lot of playing with them. We also had a set of flat, like wooden blocks. They were like puzzle pieces that were geometric shapes, like these things are, and you could create tessellations with them. My, look at the time. Oh, I'm really glad you said something about it, Susan. I really am. And then I was all excited, and then we had no internet. It was like, really? That's just awful. I was just like so unhappy this afternoon. Okay, this envelope's going to give me like 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of one color. So I'm going to cut out about 6 pieces of each color, okay? Okay, I missed a question from Mina. Yes, as long as it's a pattern, it's fine. Whatever pattern you want to make. It's about enjoying the process of creating the tiles. Oh, No, that envelope's not going to work very well. Let me see. Can I get, how many can I get out of there? Okay, I can get 2. Thank you, Janet. Somewhere said this word, tessellation, so I had to look it up. Yep. The thing of it is, Susan, I had to look up how to explain it. I knew exactly what you were talking about, or at least I thought that's what you were talking about. But for me to explain it, it just didn't want to come out yesterday. Of course, I had been online like 4 hours. We had fun yesterday. I hope you had fun. I had fun. It doesn't that, Janet. Of course, when she said it yesterday, it was like, okay, how do I explain this to them? And it's like, okay, what am I thinking of the same thing that she's asking me? And I was sure I knew what it was. And then I was like, Mel, maybe I don't know what it is. And but we sorted it out. I'm about to get all of these cut out. This is one thing about drawing them. But drawing them you can mess up more easily than having them cut out. That's the only thing. Having them cut out, you have, it's harder to mess them up. It just is. Someone said it in a video. Becky's already ready. Give me 1 second, Becky. No, give me 2 seconds. I need 2 seconds. Janet, I would say, in all honesty, most geometric quilt blocks are technically tessellations. Like a 9 patch, it's going to be a tessellation because it's just the way it goes together. There's another one where you have angles in the corners and then squares in the center. And my brain is, my quilt pattern brain has gone to sleep, so sorry, but a good many, any geometric ones should be tessellations. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, I only, oh, I said 6, so I'm good. I got 7 out of that one, so. Yeah, a hexagon pattern would be another tessellation. Diagonal shape, yep. Three diamonds make up the block, yes. And anytime you put diamonds together, really and truly, Gabby, yes, we're making paper piecing with we're kind of doing paper piecing in some respects. In a few minutes, I'll show you how to make it into more of a picture. Okay. Where did my page go? Oh, there it is. I have another blank page that I'm going to put this on. So, let me back out again. This time, we can do some funky things with this. We can take two of these that are the same color and put them together. Let me move this and just do it on my table. Okay. So now it can go I don't have enough of the same color, so I'm going to use a different color. But it can go like this. Okay. So that's one way it can go. And now I have a 2-pattern tessellation again because I have this square in the middle of each of these. And that's what would happen if I put one of these out here. If I wanted to do it long ways, like so, I would also get this square. Okay, don't sneeze. Yep, that's right. That's right, that's what they kind of look like, as little hamburger buns. Okay, so there's that way you can put it together. Then you can put it together like this. Okay. And what did I want to do? Okay. So that's another way to put it together. Then you can also put it together like so. I'm one short to do it this last piece. So you get, oh dear. Uh-oh. Okay, I hope I'm back, guys. Now I'm back. All right. That's good. So you can put it on your page however you would like to put it on your page. I may just put mine on my page like that. Okay? But however you would like to glue yours down, glue them down because they're yours. So choose which pattern you like and put it down. If your page is not falling all over like mine is. Okay. And I think maybe I will do this one. I think I'll put this one, yeah, up there and then like so. Now, this might be fun. Gabby asked me earlier about how to use them in your journal. Okay, if you made these a little tiny bit bigger or even this size, you could put a little quote in each one. Yeah, Susan, they do kind of look like spaceships. It says I'm offline again. This is not going to be fun. Yes, they would make a fun picture frame, Barbara. Yeah, Cheryl, I'm sorry. It is going to be choppy, and I apologize for it. But there's not a lot I can do. We haven't had internet all day long, and I'm afraid that they still haven't got it fixed real well. I had hoped that they would get it sorted out, and that's why I'm so late. Thanks, Holly. Because it's actually telling me I'm dropping. I can see it tells me I'm offline, and then I'm back online. So I was just glad we got it back at all today. When I called, well, I called several times today. They kept telling me 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then all of a sudden it was 2:30, and they still hadn't gotten it fixed. And that's when they started telling us 5 o'clock or slightly after 5. But and they had the okay, I have to tell you that it just made me laugh sort of. All morning long they said it would be ready at 1:18. Yours was earlier? Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, how do they know they're going to fix it by 1:18? And then I think they told me it was going to be fixed by 5:13. It's like, okay, if you can't fix it by 1:15 or 1:18, how do you know it's going to be fixed by 5:13? Just, I don't know. It would have made me laugh had I not been really wanting to be on here. I'm just glad I didn't have a showcase. I would have been very upset. Hi, Christy. Happy Mother's Day to you. Apparently my kiddo doesn't know it was Mother to read. I don't know. He must have forgot. May have to have a little chat with him. That is not sticking very well tonight. It kept knocking you down. Oh. Christy, we are making tessellations tonight. I'm doing it in my Totally Junk journal. You don't have to, and Gabby's using scrapbook paper, I think. I think these would be fun to put on all kinds of backgrounds. Barbara made the suggestion of doing them with different thicknesses of paper, and they would be, and gessoing over them. They would be a cool background, cool texture. Okay, Becky, do you suppose they're out somewhere doing something strange? I don't know. It's Sunday. If we get a call, it's usually Sunday. Mine doesn't call me as much as yours does, Becky. Mine's gotten to where he doesn't even text me hardly at all. I texted him recently and asked him if his fingers were broken. Now, but you were down there this week, weren't you, Becky? You were down and saw him during the week. They don't look quite so much like spaceships once you get them glued down. It makes me think of an accordion door. Yeah. Well, maybe he figured he'd talk to you all he needed. Who knows? I would have still thought he'd have called you. Of course, mine used to call me. He just didn't ever know what day it was when he'd call me. He'd just call me much more often than he does lately. Oh, Susan's going to do their celebrating tomorrow. That will be cool. Ah. So that's one. I'm going to go and just draw some of the ones out that we were playing with, just like I did the last one. Well, you can give him a hard time, Becky, because he didn't call you today. You can give him a hard time. They make me think of takeout boxes. Is what these make me think of. As food takeout boxes. So both of the ones that we've played with, we have made, oops, I didn't put some lines in. We have made a tessellation out of the same shape over and over again, and we've found a way to do it where it added a second shape. Becky's ready. No messages or phone calls. Oh, Sherry, honey, I'm sorry. Awesome, Barbara. Susan, I've always been a big admirer of anyone who could hand stitch angles together. Anybody that can work with triangles and hand stitch them just amazed me. Lori, how are you doing? Mingna, how are you doing? Made a tapered edge cross out of them to mirror the first. Okay, I'm not sure I know what you mean, Mina, but that's... You'll show us in... You'll send me a picture if you can. Show us in group or something. So Mina, you're ready? Now, they do not have to be straight lines. They can be curves, but I'm not good at drawing curves, and it would take a while to get the curved lines to mirror up to one another. So I'm not going to try any curves tonight. We're going to stick to very geometric shapes. Okay, Mina's ready and Becky's ready. Susan, how are you doing? Kendra's ready. Lori's good. And Barbara's ready. Okay, I think we're... Okay, Susan. All right. I'm just going to show you one right now. And we're not going to cut this one out. I'm just going to show it to you. Okay, it just lost... I lost it. My brain had it for a second, and then I lost it. Give me 1 second. I have them drawn out here. Okay, come on, where'd it go? I have a mess over here, just so you know. Okay. All right. I'm just drawing this one. I'm not going to cut it because I think you can see it if I draw it. Okay, I'm going to go from this block down to this block. So it's like over 1 and down 2. Okay? Then I'm going to go down 2 and over 1. So like so. Oh, did I go away again? Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Close the top to show it. That would be pretty, Cheryl. And Susan, I can't understand any of that. Okay, so I went over 1, down 2, down 2, over 1. So I've got like a big sideways V. Okay? Now I'm going to go 2 lines, 1, 2, straight. Okay? Then I'm going to go over 1 and down 2. So I'm going to here. And then I'm going to here. So I end up with a big, basically a big chevron shape. You see it? It looks like a book. Okay. Now you can, I'm sure, see how this is going to play out because it's going to repeat itself. Let me find my little paper. Where did my little paper go? Can you see it there? Okay. And this is just drawing this real fast. I want to move on to something a little more fun than this. Okay, so that's another one. Okay. Okay. So I need another piece of paper because this one is covered up. And I had some more. There we go. It's right there. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, how can I explain this? Let's go back to this one. Like that one, who knows why the arrow won? Don't know. Okay. You see this square right here, or rectangle right there? Okay. There's also another rectangle right here, but there's a shape in that rectangle. What we did was we took this piece, that right there, and put it over here. So if I had another rectangle right here, or if I had this rectangle, I'm going to take this piece right here out of it, and I'm going to put it on this side, and that makes them all fit together. Does that make sense to everybody? So here, and there, plus this, these two parts add up to making this part. Does that make sense? Because it's real important when we go to draw the next part, the next one. Okay, makes sense to me now. Okay, and Mindy's got it. All right, anytime we take a square like this and do something to that square, if we take this piece out of it and add it to the other side, then it'll fit together. Okay? So that's kind of what we're going to do with this next pattern. Our next pattern, let me use colors. Okay, don't draw anything or cut anything until I finish this one, okay guys? I'm going to take three squares like so. All right. But then I'm going to take that piece right there and I'm going to put it down here. Okay, now I'm going to show you with the black marker. Okay, now I'm going to do it over here again because that way you'll see the outline better. Uh-oh, I'm buffering now. Okay, and do we see our little cat? Do over, please. Okay, I will be glad to do it over. Okay. I'm going to do it over right here. I have to have 3 squares in a row. I'm going to start out with 3 squares. This is my box that I'm looking at. Okay? But if I take out a piece, this piece I'm going to take out up here. I'm going to take this out, but I'm going to add it down here to the bottom of this box. Okay. So then I get my cat face. Okay. Now then. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, guys, a thumbs up would be really helpful. Hi, Patricia. Okay, guys. Now, did you guys lose me in the midst of all that again? Because I will be glad to do it. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to have 3 blocks down, an triangle, a straight across one, a triangle, 3 blocks up, down at an angle, and up. And I'm going to actually cut that out. Okay? Now I'm all inky. And hello, Patricia. The big thing I want you to see is that by making sure that this piece up here is mirrored with this piece down here, then they all start to fit together. And you can get very complicated with this, even though it's geometric. Okay? Because now this one will go on that one. I'm going to leave that sit there while I cut out. I'm going to cut out these. I'm at least probably 3 or 4 of them. Okay? And Janet, I've seen this as a quilt. I think it's in like a modified 9-patch. Would be what it would be talked about. And of course, anyone who's not familiar with tessellations, I'm sure you've seen them before, because Escher, and how do you spell that? It's Escher, MC Escher. You've seen his artwork. It's, it's been out there for, I'm sure everyone has seen his artwork. He uses tessellations over and over. Thank you, Mark. In all of his things, he does tessellations all the time. Or did. I don't believe he's alive anymore. I'm going to set that back further so that you can... But see how this, now the bottom of the kitty's chin is going to fit into the top of this kitty's head? Yep, all the cat faces, Barbara. That's what they will go together. As long as you make it where the one piece fits into the next piece. And you could draw pretty much any shape and make it fit together that way. Okay, are we going to be able to see them all? Now this is big, and I'm drawing it big, guys, because otherwise you can't see it. Yeah, Janet, it's like these two squares will have to be the half square triangles, and the others will be squares. Oh yeah, Batman's mask. There you go. I forget, you know. We could turn into Batman's mask real quick. Do we have... Oh, it's Joan that said Batman's mask. I'm sorry, Joan. I missed it. A little child? I know a couple of grown-ups that would probably really enjoy it. Okay, that's not going to fit on there, is it? Yes, it is. Okay, no, it's not. Okay. And I'm not even going to glue these down. I'm just going to sit them like that because I don't have any pages in my... I'd have to go hunt paper. Actually, I got paper right here. Maybe that will work. Nope, that's cardstock. I know where there's paper. I'll be right back. Oh, gosh. Although I might get in trouble with the Totally Junk Journal police. If I use this piece of paper, y'all won't snitch on me, will you? Because that's a brand new piece of paper. You know, Sherry, I've never seen that game. Anyways, I'm going to put these on a totally brand new piece of paper so that we can glue them down and have them put down. Okay, Susan, that's a good, that's, thank you. Now, yep, it would be if I didn't use it. Well, then I guess we could be using scrapbook paper all the time too, right? When Gabby asked me yesterday, I was like, well, I know that other people are using scrapbook paper. So I knew that she could. I tell you what, they stick to that paper a whole lot better than they've been sticking to that paper bag. Thank you, Mar. Button eyes. Yep, there you go. Patricia's going to snitch. She just wants to. She's not going to. Now, of course, we can give them eyes. A little nose. It has whiskers. I don't know, do cats have eyebrows? Mine do, so. There. They need a smile. I had a smile on the other one, and how did I do that smile? Just a little. They're very, their smiles are very funny. They look like they have lips. That doesn't work so well. Oh well. Okay, there you go. Mindy, I'm sure my husband would say that. They have eye whiskers, 12 whiskers to the nose on each side, 4 rows. Oh dear, well. There we go. That's going to have to do, Susan. Yep, Mindy, I agree. If it's related, well, okay. All right. Now then. Okay, so we understand about the fact that anytime you take a simple square shape and take a piece out of it, you can also add that piece to the bottom, and then they will tessellate together. So now And now I'm just going to draw this one. If we take a rectangle, like so, and then we add this piece to the side of it. I did that backwards. Okay, well, it works. Okay, then the same piece will tessellate. Now this is what Janet is talking about with blocks. Because that shape can be repeated and stuck together over and over. Just a minute, I got it in my head. It's so those are the same shape over and over, and they come together. Let me color them a couple of different colors to help look at them. Top 2 rows of whiskers can move independently from. She's got all kinds of. I have never known that. Okay. So even though that's not really a square or a rectangle or anything like that, you can make it fit together. So it's a rectangle with an angled rectangle, which is kind of like a building shape. Okay, but now let's put 3 different shapes together. We're going to put a rectangle. We're going to put this angled rectangle. Then we're going to put that rectangle, which is actually 2 triangles that are together. Let me see if I can do it again. Oh, I messed up. That didn't work. That's not right, guys. That's not right. Okay, I have to think about that one for a while. What type of marker is that? This one? Janet, this is our micron markers. This is a 08. This is my favorite marker because look, it does not bleed very much to the back. This is thin paper. Or are you talking about the colored markers? Yes, and then it gets curvy even though these colored markers are my Stampin' Up! Markers, and they're older than the hills, but I have all of the re-inkers for them, so when they get dry I can just put a drop or 2 of ink in there and I can re-ink them. And this happens to be a set they used to call Bold Brights. So I'm not sure which marker you're talking about, Janet, the micron one. And these micron ones come in different nibs. This is a 02, which is really tiny. And this is a 08, which is, okay, the colored ones. Okay. In that case, they're Stampin' Right markers. I don't even know if they make markers anymore. Tombow. I think Tombow is who originally made these markers. Of course, they were marketed through Stampin' Up. But they're very, very, very much like the Tombow markers. And they have a tiny tip, which I've never liked much, you can write with, and they have a brush tip. And it's not as, some of the newer brush tips are more brushy. That's more of a, this is a felt one. Okay. So are we all ready for our next shape to cut out? Since I messed that one up. Okay. Okay, Mina's ready for the next one. Oh, I gotta have another piece of paper. Oh, where'd my paper go? Okay. Okay, so our kitty cat needs something. So we're going to draw it some dinner. And we're going to start with 3 squares straight down, like so. Then we're going to make a triangle, 1 square over and 1 square up from the bottom. Okay? Then here's where it gets tricky. We got to do that across, over 2 and up 1 thing. So we're going to go over 2 and up 1. So I want to go from here to there. And then I'm going to go over 2 and down 1. So I'm going to go from here to there. Oops, that was not a straight line. Sorry about that. Okay? Now we're going to make another triangle, and we're going to go from there to this one. And another triangle down here, from here to this one. And we're going to make a straight line. Sherry, I cut out 3 shapes, and I have 3 different shapes, and I cut out multiple pieces of them, and we just have put them together. So now we have a fish, so our kitty cat will have dinner, and I'm actually going to cut this one out. And I'm going to cut some shapes, because this one is a little more tricky in how you can put it together. Susan, the nice thing about it is this is recorded and you can go back and look at it tomorrow and make them again and play and have fun making different shapes and whatnot, right? Okay, do I have enough room on this? Alright, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Sue. Uh-huh. My thing is to manage to get there with a straight line without using a ruler. Mm-hmm. And you only need, 4 or 5 pieces of these fishes. Just enough to play with a little bit. But I knew our kitty cat needed some dinner, so we had to have a fish. Now, when we get all done, guys, and tomorrow, if you're not familiar with Escher, please look him up and please look at some of his designs. Because while we're doing everything geometrically, his are much more curved and his have much more fluid shapes to them. Hi, Bootsy. Hi. Yes, Bootsy has given us a new name, guys. I wish I had thought of this when I named the group, because that is just too fun. Bootsy, really and truly, I didn't play with these until my son was little. But I used enough graph paper in high school to last 3 lifetimes. I did a lot of mechanical drawing too. That, and I took 2 years of architectural drawing. Oh goody, this envelope's going to give me 3 fishies that can swim. Okay, Barbara dear, thank you for coming and playing. I am really sorry that I was so late today. I really am glad you came and played, and I'm glad you got your desk cleared off so that you could play because I was late. Yes, Scherer, Escher. And he has, the initials are, I always have to look. I've known his work forever, but I never, it's M.C. Escher. Escher. I may not be saying that correctly. when you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But he does some fabulous fish. He does some really fun birds. He's the one that does the staircase, that did the staircase that it never ends. Night, Barbara dear. Mathematical Art of M.C. Escher, yes. But if I were to try to draw a fish the way he drew the fish, I probably would never get them to swim together. My school would definitely have a shark chasing after it, I'm pretty sure. Because it would not be in a school, it would be all over the place. So I make my fish just as geometric as I can get them. Let me know when you've got 5 or 6 cut out, guys. I am pronouncing. Thank you, Kath. Hi, Catherine. I didn't know you were here. I apologize. I've got a book. His art back in the late 60s. Yes, I love his work. I just couldn't ever think that I would be able to draw like that. Catherine, did I miss saying hello? Thank you, Janet. Janet has linked to some of... guys, please don't forget that Lisa is supposed to be on tomorrow night at 7 Central, and that we will be doing our hangout at 7 Central on Lisa's channel on Tuesday. Just lurking and absorbing, that works. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you real quick how to put these together, and then I'm going to glue them on my page. The big thing about the fish is they can't all swim the same direction. Well, they can. If you want to make a different shape in between them, they can all swim the same direction. You could have 3 shapes, okay? Like so. Okay, remember we said tessellations did not have to all be made with the same shape. We would have to have 3 shapes to do this tessellation. We would have to have the fish, this funny kite shape, and a triangle. Thank you, Janet. There are some quilt designs that use tessellations. I'm sure there's a bottle of wine big enough for me to do. Oh, yeah. Bootsy, yep, good night, Mark. I'm glad you came. Okay, so we could make our school swim all one direction, but the idea behind this particular shape is that they will actually fit. Just a minute, I gotta get them swimming the right direction. Together, back and forth, like so. So that's another way they can fit together. Okay, then let's see here. No. They could all swim like that. I'm not sure. Let me think here. I don't think they'll swim. Oh, okay. They could swim like this. See, so they could swim a lot of ways. Hourglass shapes would be fun. Yes, Sherry, hourglass would work perfect. A tie, yeah, it looks like it. Oh, it does look like a tie. It looks exactly like a tie, Becky. Okay, now if it had another point down here, it would fit together in a different way too. Yes, it just creates a different size fish. Yes, Catherine, that would work. The negative would work some different way. And you could, okay, have you ever seen a tiled floor where there's a center spot and then the spot changes and goes out? A thread spool? Yes. Okay, the initial one, yeah. Let me think. They all swam the same direction. Okay, and you see what Catherine is Catherine? Yes, Catherine is talking about when they all swim the same direction. There is a fish right here. Here's his tail, and this is the rest of the fish that swims the other way. So there's another bunch of shapes and designs that you can make doing that. So I am going to glue my fish down. However they decide to swim on here. They may not have a lot of room to swim on here. Well, I guess only 3 fish are going to swim. Maybe these fish will do something different on the other page. Susan, it's really about what you're trying to do with it, you know, and what it makes it look like to you. And there again, these patterns done in a plain paper or something would be fun to journal in. You could journal in one in each day. You could write a quote in them. You could make your kitty cat pillow on one side and then have the fish on the other side so the kitty cat would never be hungry. Okay, now, I'm going to, if I'm gonna just do something different with these. I think I'll just not put them in for right now. Okay, I missed something. Cat toe beans. They look like vases. Yes, Cheryl, they do look like vases. Yeah, I mean, that the negative space is always, um, just a minute. Oh, yeah. Well, shoot, I just avalanched everything all over the floor. The negative space is always important if you're not using the same shape over and over again. See, there's our negative, there's our other little fish that swims the other way. And Susan, yes, the fish would make pretty vases. And I'd never heard of that either. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to draw this one now, guys. I'm not going to try to cut it out. But I'm going to do another one. Okay, Mina, I'm missing it. How are we guys? How is everybody doing? Is everybody caught up? Okay, Cheryl, I love 11 by 14 paper. Um, because it makes a bigger page when you fold it in half. Right under the fish, you have draw one going. Right under the fish. Draw one going up. And I have, okay. Rotate left, yeah. I'm reading, guys. I'm trying to pay attention so I get, pretend I have a middle one. Okay, I rotated it left, Mina. Like so? Yes. Oh yeah, you could definitely have, that's how I put them on my page. Oops, I didn't mean to yell. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. If that were black, that would be very cool. Yes, that would be very cool. And it's still a tessellation because it's using the tiling effect of the negative space. So cool. Yes. Yep. Okay. Now I'm just going to draw this one, and I'm going to draw it on the little graph paper afterwards because it gets a little complicated. But it's again about realizing how the patterns will shift and you can move them. Okay, so we're going to use 4 squares this time. Okay, okay, this is our general piece that we have to use, and remember we're going to take a piece out of here and put it on a different place. So I am going to come from this corner to this spot corner, so I'm going to go down 1 and over 2, and then oops, I meant to draw it with a different color. I'm sorry. Down 1 over 2, up a triangle, down 1, and like that. So this is the piece that I'm taking out that I'm going to add up here. Okay. Bye, Joan. Good night. I'm not going to stay on too much longer because it's getting close to bedtime. Okay. So what we did is we took this piece out and we added it up here. Oops, crooked. Up here. All right. Let's get a clean piece of this paper. Oh, there went that. Guys, I sure am glad you came on this evening. And I'm really sorry I was so late. Okay, so I'm going to start in the middle. I have something that is 4 blocks long on one side and 4 blocks long on this side. Then it goes in 2 blocks. So there's like a W on the side of it. And up. And then it goes so that there's an M on the top of it. What did I mess up? I messed up. What did I do? I manage to mess it up? Ah, I didn't mess it up. Duh. It's fine. Okay. So there's a W right there and an M right there. Okay? Thank you, Janet. That's the 1-inch graph paper, guys. Okay. So now what happens is we can turn this and create a pattern with this strange looking shape, which gets kind of complicated, but we can do it. If my brain will function correctly. We're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go up this way 4. And then we're going to draw our M. But we're going to draw it sideways. Okay, and do you see the shape? Okay, I lost my pen. Sorry guys, I haven't looked at chat in a couple minutes, so if you have a question, I'm not paying attention. I apologize. Okay. Hi, Lisa. Okay, so there's one, there's another. Now, this M is also going to fit in where the W is. So, for me, turning my piece of paper around, it's probably going to make it a little easier to draw. Because now I'm going to come down this 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and go over 4. 4. Then I have to put my sideways W in. Okay? And then when I turn it, I'm going to go down 4 and over 4, and I have created a whole pinwheel with that one shape. Uh-oh, guys, hold on just a minute. Hi, I love you. Can you talk to your daddy for just a minute? Okay, hold on. It's Brandon. Guess what? I know, Lisa. I know you've been lurking and working. That was my son. He's talking to his daddy for a minute. I kind of have finished up my, most of what I wanted to show you. Yeah, Becky, he called me. I hope Greg calls you too. Anyways, guys, he's talking to his daddy. I've kind of shown you what I was going to show you. I have a couple of things to remind you about, or tell you about. One is that I'm going to do a live sale I'm not. I'm going to do a live sale on the 23rd, which is a Thursday, at 7 p.m. Central. I'm going to have mixed media supplies, beads, and jewelry. Whatever I happen to come up with. So I wanted to tell you about that. And then he just called Susan because I've had a feeling he might call late. Sometimes he does. Anyways, has anybody got any questions about this before I go? About the Tesselations before I go? Thank you, Janet. Janet's the best, guys. Well, y'all are best. I love y'all. Anyways, does anybody have any tessellation questions? If not, I'm going to read you a quote from my 1001 Ways to Creativity. And I'm going to go for tonight. It's getting late anyways. I wasn't going to stay on much longer anyhow. I really appreciate that everybody came, seeing as how I was so late. Oh, and the Tuesday night hangout, we will be doing that at 7 Central on Lisa's channel. One thing I'd like to say is maybe color a page, copy, print your tessellations. I can do that, Susan. I won't promise it for the next couple of days, but I will draw them out and do that. Susan, I'm always open to some good ideas, and this was a really good idea. I really appreciate that you mentioned it. Anyhow, I'm going to read you a copy of a quote from my book. And I like this one. It says, "To find creativity, lose your fear of being wrong." I love that one. Okay, guys, I'm going to go because I know he called because it's Mother's Day. He may have called my mama first, is why it's so late. Big hugs to all of you. Thank you very much. Did Mindy? Okay, Mindy, before I go, I'm going to make sure Mindy got what she needed. If not, Mindy, message me and I'll send you a link directly. Okay, guys, I love y'all. I'm going to go. Thanks, everybody. Mindy, message me and we'll see about getting it to you. Bye, Patricia.